Welcome to the Yoga and Detox Wellness First Week Asana Practice. You're going to start in a strong seat. Legs can be crossed or you can sit on your shins to start, whatever is more comfortable. So take a strong stacked spine. So gently tone your inner thighs, press the edges of your feet into the mat, press your sit bones down, allow your shoulders to lift up towards your ears just for a moment, and then settle onto the back body. And then by stacking your shoulders over your hips, also stack the back of your head over your shoulders so your spine is nice and supported. Take a moment here with your heart lifted, this expansion in your spine, just to settle in for a few breaths before you start your practice. Letting your day go, setting your intention, connecting with your heart space. On your next inhale, bring your hands together at your heart center. Press your thumbs into your chest lift it into your thumbs. Take a long, strong breath in, and just let that out. Gently blink your eyes open and start to walk your right fingertips away from you to the right. You're going to reach your left hand up and over, stretching over to the right with your left fingertips. Getting a nice side stretch, really make sure you anchor down through your sit bones, anchor down through that left hip bone. If your neck does not feel optimal looking up, you can always look straight ahead or down. Inhale. On your exhale, bring both arms up, come through center, and then exhale, switch sides. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches over. Make sure you're being mindful of that left shoulder, not letting it drop forward, really rotating it onto the back body. Allow your breath to start at your sit bones and travel all the way up through the crown of your head and through the fingertips of your right hand. Inhale. Exhale, come back through center and bring your hands together at your heart center. Take an inhale and start to use the power of your core to exhale over to the right, just with the power of your solar plexus. And now with every inhale, think kind of round into your back body, and with every exhale, twist a little further over towards the right. One more. Big inhale. Exhale, twist. And then release the right hand over to the left hand over to your right knee, and bring your right fingertips back behind you. And then using your hands, using still the power of your core, twist a little bit deeper. Try not to use the shoulders or the neck. Try to use the breath and the power of the solar plexus, the core. On your next exhale, come back to center. Bring your hands together back at your heart. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, start to twist open towards the left. And 2 more breaths here, each time twisting a little bit further. Really root down into your sit bones to get that extension in your spine, work the legs. And then release your right hand to your left knee and twist open a little bit further. Try not to hold your breath. And then on your next exhale, release back through center. And come forward into hands and knees. Bring your hands outer shoulder width apart. Hands spread out, or fingers spread out nice and evenly. Wrist creases pointing straight ahead. Bring your knees hip width apart and your feet hip width apart, and curl your toes under so you get a nice little toe stretch. And we're going to start to do a few cat-cows. So keeping your belly toned up towards your spine so your core remains strong. Start to drop your chest towards the earth. Set your shoulders onto your back body. Gaze upwards. Bring your inner thighs and back and apart. Cow pose. On your next exhale, press into the earth, hands, knees, and toes, and curl it up into your cat pose, tucking your chin. And then you'll take a few more at your pace, syncing your breath with your movement. So if your breath is nice, feeling nice and long today, take your time. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more energy, you can speed it up a little bit. But make sure it's what your body really needs. Giving yourself this time to check in with not only your body awareness, but your mental state, your emotional state, why you were on your mat, your intention. One more round of cat-cow, loosening up the low back, loosening up the spine. And then after your next cat pose, you're going to come into neutral. Step your right leg back and then your left. Plank holds. Heels are directly over the toes, hips in line with the shoulders. Mid-back is rounded. Between the shoulder blades is slightly melted, so you're melting the heart. Drag your hands isometrically apart and down towards your toes and lengthen your sternum, your heart forward. Try and keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine so you have a nice, strong connection. And yes, we are holding this just for a little bit. Building up some heat, building some gratitude for what our bodies can do, and building strength. For another 3, 2, take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, move back into a down dog. And go ahead and walk out your down dog. You can bend one knee and then the other. You can sashay your heels from one side to the other. Just kind of warming up, again, moving organically. And note if on some days when you're doing this home practice, if you don't feel like moving, if stillness is calling to you, honor that as well. And go ahead and find stillness. Press your hands down and forward. Feel your ribs towards your spine and lengthen your hips up and away. Lift and spread your toes. Turn your ankles in towards one another and lift your quads. Inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. On your exhale, bring it all the way through and set up for warrior 1. Front leg will come to 90 degrees. Your back heel will be down. Your toes will be pointed out at about 30 degrees with that left foot. Inhale, come all the way up. As you settle, think about pulling your right rib cage back and your left rib cage forward. Then deep into the front knee and drag that right heel back. Don't forget about the left leg. Keep pressing into the left pinky toe. On your next exhale, bring your hands down and step your left foot forward to come into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, almost like a little cow pose. And then round your back body like a cat pose and exhale, fold deep. Roll out the shoulders a little bit, shake out the head. And then root down into the soles of the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, reaching the arms out wide. And exhale, your hands down to heart center. Use this time to set your intention once again, to find your breath, to find your foundation from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, from the front of your body to the back of your body. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, take your time setting your foundation. Step your left leg back and then your right. Plank. Set yourself up strong here, heels over the toes, legs engaged, core lengthening, hands gripping, spine extended. Lift your right toes off the floor. Now really plug that right leg in so you're engaging that right glute. Feel your inner thighs working. Feel your core working. Feel your will working. And lower down your right toes, please, and lift the left. Again, plug that left leg in. Work the left glute. Long line of energy from the crown of your head down to your left toes. And lower down the left toes. Take a long, strong inhale. And then exhale, take it back, down dog. Left leg goes back behind you. Come all the way through warrior 1. It might not be as long of a lunge as you're used to in warrior 2, that's okay, or in your crescent lunges. So you might need to step that back foot in so that right heel can get nice and grounded. Square off the hips, square off the rib cage. Reach the arms towards the sky, relax the shoulders down the back. Gorgeous. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Step your right leg forward. Forward folds. Take an inhale, give yourself some space. And then on your exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, reach all the way up. And let your hands settle at your heart space. And now you're going to do some standing side stretches. So go ahead and really root down through your right sole of your foot. Reach your arms up reach down through both soles of the feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. Take your right hand around your left wrist and stretch up and over towards the right. So connect from the bottoms of your feet, lengthen your tailbone, tone your rib cage, wrap your inner shoulder back, lengthen through the back of your head. And you can stay here, or you might start to ground down a little bit more through that left foot. And maybe your right foot starts to get a little bit higher or a little bit lighter, lifting up the ground. Take one more long breath, controlling your breath, stretching out that side body. And slowly lower down the right leg and come back to center and switch it out, take it over to the left. It can feel very constricting, a little difficult here to breathe in a side angle bend or a side bend. It's okay. Control your breath. Take control. Start to really plug in that left leg, lift the toes up, always optionally. Maybe bump the hips over to the right a little bit more, go a little bit lower. And then come back through center. And then exhale, folding forward. Inhale, half lift. And as you exhale, sit back into your chair pose. Get your hips nice and low. Drag your heels back, squeeze your legs together, lengthen your tailbone down, and then engage your power center, your solar plexus. Reach the arms up. Chair. Maybe challenging yourself today, seeing how low you can go. Make sure the knees aren't going forward past your toes. See if you can sink your hips down a little lower, why not? And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step right leg back and then left, plank. Lower down onto your forearms. Take your right forearm parallel to the front of your mat, side plank in a forearm stance. Awesome. Tone your inner thighs, lengthen the tailbone, lift through the heart, take your throat back. Now really utilize that right forearm, press into your wrist, your hand, so you're not having all the weight into the elbow. Really reach through the left fingertips, and then on your exhale, reach underneath you and reach through obliques and lift up. 2 more. Reach underneath and lift up. Last one. Reach, really try and touch the wall behind you and reach up and forearm plank. And other side. Left forearm becomes parallel to the front of your mat. Come into a strong side angle. Right arm reaches up and you'll reach through on your exhale for your oblique twists. Inhale, reaching. Really utilizing that left outside of your foot, really pressing in, always lifting the hips, making sure you're breathing, relaxing through the neck and the jaw. Last time. Beautiful work. And you come back to the forearm, plank. Settling in here, reforming, transforming your body, your courage, your will. You've got another 3, 2, and 1. Press up into your plank. Long inhale, and on your exhale, down dog. Step your feet in a footprint, coming into a down dog twist. Right hand to outside of left shin. Round into your back body. On your exhale, pull the heart through. Let the crown of your head be long. Let your sit bones work up towards the ceiling. Always trying to create space in the hips, create space in the spine. And release the right hand and switch it out. Left hand to the outside of the right hand, to the outside of the left shin. So round up and in, pull the core and the ribs in, and twist through. That left shoulder is nice and grounded onto the back body. Hand is pressing down and forward. And release the right hand. Step your feet back a little bit so you're back into your down dog stance. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, bring it through warrior 1. On your next exhale, move into your warrior two. So you'll take a slightly wider stance. Front knee stays at 90 degrees. Back foot becomes parallel to the back of your mat. Now just work your ankles, squeezing them in towards one another. Make sure your front knee is at that 90 degrees and your right heel is dragging back towards your left. Spine is nice and upright. Lower tips of the shoulder blades slide together. Arm muscles tone in towards the arm bones. Strong, powerful pose. Flip your right palm, take it back, reverse your warrior. In your reverse warrior, lean back into that right rib cage a little bit, pulling yourself a little bit more into a back bend, more into a twist. Throat goes back, fingertips on that back leg are nice and light. They're there as a guide. One more long breath. And then on your exhale, come into crescent. Back heel comes over your left toes. Crescent warrior. And then hands come down to your heart. Twist left elbow across to the right thigh. Work the inner thighs. Work your core, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Lower tips of the shoulder blades come together, leaning into that right rib cage. Throat goes back. And find a place that feels good on the neck. You can look down, you can look straight ahead, you can look up over the right shoulder if that's accessible for you today. For more balance, look down at your right foot. On your exhale, step your left leg forward, twisted chair. Make sure that left knee is in line with the right, so you probably need to slide that left hip back a little bit. Come into regular chair. And slowly start to lower down the hips, resisting gravity as you get lower, 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 all the way down and set up for your boat pose. So your boat pose can be toes barely touching the floor, knees squeezing in, pressing into your sit bones, lifting your heart. You can even use your hands to the backs of your knees for a little extra support for your hip flexors and low back. Make sure you're squeezing your sit bones in towards one another, pubic bone and tailbone squeeze in, so pelvic floor is engaged. Option 2 is to reach the arms forward and bring your shins parallel to the floor. You can stay here, or you can go towards straight with the legs, all the while keeping your heart nice and lifted. Elizabeth's doing a beautiful job. Inhale. On your exhale, start to lower down halfway and hold. Here, you're going to make sure that you can kind of shake out the shoulders a little bit, relax the throat, relax the neck. On your next exhale, back up into full boat. Lower down halfway, canoe. Press yourself up, full boat. Pressing into your sit bones, really pulling into the core, and lower down, canoe. Try and control your breathing nice and long. And then lower down the head, lower down the shoulders, pull the knees into the chest, give yourself a big squeeze. Awesome work. And then start to rock and roll yourself all the way up. And you'll come into a forward fold, either with momentum or just work your way up. Inhale, half lift, exhale, folds. Inhale, all the way up, hands reach towards the sky. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Set your hips back, chair pose. Nice and strong. See if you can go a little bit lower this time. Make sure the legs are working, your hamstrings are working, shoulder blades are on the back, and forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step it back, plank. This time we're going to do a forearm plank hold. So lower down onto your forearms and settle here. You can either interlace your fingers. Make sure you don't have a death grip if you're interlacing your fingers. You still want to press into your wrists, press into your forearms. Or you can keep your hands elbow width apart. And then you're going to still be pressing down into the forearms. Either one is great. Whatever feels better. Maybe try them both out and see which one works better for you. As you hold, as you breathe, as you tell yourself, yes, I can, one more breath. Press into your toes, inner thighs are firing, glutes are supporting you, external rotation, pulling in the belly, pulling in the core, dragging your elbows back towards your toes to lengthen your heart forward. Here's for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press yourself back up into your plank. Take a long inhale and down dog. A few moments here, walk it out, whatever you need to do. And then we'll settle in for the other side. Left leg goes back behind you, 3-legged. Bring it all the way through warrior 1. Open it up, warrior 2. So you may need to adjust your stance a little bit longer. Work the ankles in towards one another, front knee is over the front ankle. Even track that left knee out a little bit so you can see your big toe, maybe even your second toe. Settling here, we're taking a few breaths here to establish a strong foundation, a strong, powerful pose. Left palm flips up, take it back, reverse your warrior. Right fingertips act as a guide, a little bit of support. As you lean into that left shoulder, pull your right heart, your right rib cage forward. Throat back, lean back a little bit more, work the legs, trust your foundation, maybe sink your hips down a little lower. And then transition into crescent warrior, back heel over the back toes, arms reaching up. On your next exhale, hands down to your heart. Lengthen your right elbow away and twist across your left thigh. Twisted lunge. Press into your back toes to strengthen and lengthen that back leg. Tone the inner thighs, wrap your left hip back against your right inner thigh. Again, move from your solar plexus, move from your core. You can keep your gaze straight ahead or looking up for more of a challenge, or you can look down at the left foot and step your right leg forward, twisted chair. Settle here, try and get the hips beneath the heart. Then bring your arms forward, chair, and lower down, always resisting gravity, coming all the way down. And this time we're going to set up for sprinter twists. So lengthen out into your half boat, so not quite canoe. Interlace your hands back behind you, or you can just let your fingertips touch. Pull your right knee in and touch your right knee towards your left elbow, twist. If you can touch, really resist. Press into one another. Press your knee against your elbow, elbow against the knee. See if you can breathe. See if you can bring your shoulder blades together. Press the head against the hands. And switch. Again, find that resistance, isometric. Working the obliques, working that twist. Use your pelvic floor, sit bones, pubic bone, and tailbone. And switch. Breathing, making sure your inhales are as long as your exhales. You've got this. And switch. Beautiful extension. Last time, switch. See if you can open the chest a little bit more, release the neck a little bit more. Last time, twist, press, maybe smile. And then roll onto your back, pull your knees into your chest. Rock that out a little bit. You can have one hand on each knee and just kind of work out the low back. Awesome job. Bring your left foot down to the floor. Extend your right leg up towards the sky. Interlace your hands behind your right hamstring. Flex through your right foot and stretch. A lot of reward for all that work. So as you stretch, if you feel like it's a little difficult to interlace your hands behind your hamstring, you can always grab your yoga mat strap, or if you have a yoga strap, or even a belt or a scarf that's strong material, you can use that around your toe mounds. It'll give you a little bit more space. Go ahead and point through your right foot, and then flex, and then point, and flex. And take big circles with the toes. It's really drawing like a giant sun on the ceiling. And switch directions. And then flex back through the toes like you're trying to touch the shin, like you're trying to lift the heel. And then allow your right ankle to come across your left thigh, figure 4. So you're going to, at first, pull your rib cage down to the mat. Lengthen your right knee away from you. It will increase the external rotation. Make sure your feet are working, lifted and spread your toes. And then use your core to pull your left knee in towards your chest. You can interlace your hands behind your left hamstring or in front of your left calf, shin. Both feet are nice and strong, looks really good. And here, see if you can relax the shoulders down, release the neck, maybe even open and close the jaw a few times to release tension in the hips. Very often, jaw tension and hip tension can be very related, and releasing one can release the other. You can even use your right elbow here to lengthen that right knee a little bit further away if you need a little bit more. Release your hands, slide your right knee on top of your left. So you're going to stack like you're coming cross-legged. And then re-pull the knees into the chest, grab onto your shins, flex through your feet, supine cow face. So as you squeeze your shins straight down, lengthen the tailbone, engage the rib cage, but keep the shoulders soft, keep the neck soft. And release. Bring your right foot down. Extend your left leg up towards the sky. Interlace your hands behind the left hamstring. And give yourself a little hamstring love. This action also creates a little bit of space in your low back. So if you're ever having low back pain or some stiffness, this is a great stretch to do. You can let your hands be a little bit heavier and kind of pull your hamstring down into your pelvis. And go ahead and point your foot and flex a few times, just getting into that ankle joint. And then rotate the ankle, big circles, and take your time. Be amazed at what muscles you can feel when you really take your time to do these rotations. Make sure you go in both directions. And then flex back through the toes, reach through the heel, and settle the left ankle this time on top of the right thigh. Lift and spread the toes, work the feet. First, lengthen that left knee away and just check out if this is where you need to be today. If you'd like a little bit more, pull the right knee in, interlace your hands behind the right hamstring or in front of the right shin. Again, you can use that left elbow to lengthen your left knee away. You can move your head from side to side to release any neck tension. And use this time of stillness. See, we're still doing a ton of work here in our stretches. It just doesn't seem as fiery, and so sometimes our mind can start to wander. Pull it back into your intention. Gently release your hands, slide your left knee on top of your right, like you're going to sit cross-legged in a chair, and then pull the knees in with the power of the core, flex through the feet, and grab onto the tops of your shins and pull straight down. If you want to go a little further, we didn't do this on the other side, but if you want to go a little further, you can walk your hands down to the pinky edges of your feet, and then press out through your big toe mound so you don't sickle out your ankles, so you have strong Tadasana ankles, nice and strong. And then you're going to pull the feet up towards the shoulders and keep lengthening your tailbone down. It's a pretty intense stretch, so make sure that your body is ready for it. And gently release. Pull the knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. We're going to go into a supine twist. So extend the left leg out. Bring your left hand, or keep your left hand on your right knee. Extend your right arm out, straight away from your shoulder. Take an inhale, really pull down through that right rib cage, and on your exhale, release over to the left with that right knee. So you control how far you go. Make sure your right shoulder stays as grounded as possible down to the mat. You can also press into your left elbow to kind of lift your left rib cage, give you a little bit more space to twist a little deeper if you like. If you ever want to take this a little further, you can kind of tuck your right toes underneath your left quad. almost coming into like a eagle legs. That can also work. And then release through center. Pull the knees into the chest. Give yourself a long squeeze. This time on your squeeze, lift your shoulders. Try and grab onto your forearms or opposite elbows. Lift your chin up toward, or your forehead up towards your knees, and stretch out your spine. And release the shoulders down. Extend your right leg out long. Keep your right hand on your left knee. Extend your left arm out in line with your shoulder. Take an inhale. On your exhale, start to bring that left knee across the body. Again, you can kind of press into your right elbow to pick up that right rib cage, so the left shoulder and the left rib cage can go a little bit further down towards the mat. You can press your left hip away from you, elongating the side body. You can take a little hook of the toes. You can take a little eagle wrap if you'd like to go further in this. You can also look over your left shoulder for a full supine twist, if that feels good on the neck. And then bring your head back to neutral. Use your core to come back in onto your back and pull your knees once again into your chest. So reach your arms through your legs. Take happy baby. So you could grab onto the pinky edges of your feet. Pull your feet down, knees on either side of your rib cage. You can straighten one leg and then the other if you want to take it into a little hamstring stretch. Maybe even extending both legs at the same time. Take it into a wide straddle. And then you're going to release the feet down to the mat. Walk your feet out as wide as your mat. Bring your hands to your rib cage. Allow your rib cage to connect down to the earth, so a little engagement of the core. And then start to windshield wiper the knees back and forth. This releases the low back, also gives you a little bit of opening in the IT bands and the outer hips. And then you're just going to slowly walk your feet further and further out away from you until you find your Shavasana. So your palms can be upright at your sides. Your feet can be as wide as the mat. Toes just heavy out to the sides. You can also bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to be wide. This will get a little bit more into the hips and the inner thighs. If you have any compression or discomfort in your low back, you're going to bend the knees, bring your feet out as wide as your mat, and let your knees knock knee in together. Perfect. And then give yourself at least an additional 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 minutes here. Just incorporating your practice, checking in with yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, coming back to your intention, the gift of this practice that you've given to yourself. Thank you so much, yogis. Namaste.